Thank you, Marilyn. Something that neither Allison nor Marilyn mentioned was not only was she the high school cheerleader, she was the captain of her high school cheerleading squad. So just to set the record straight. Hi, guys. As the Adam Smith Society's program director, it's my honor this evening to present the 2016 nominees for the Society's 3 competitive student chapter awards: Best New Chapter, Best Chapter Marketing and On-Campus Promotion, and of course, Chapter of the Year. We'll hear briefly from each nominated chapter about their success during the 2015-2016 academic year. Bios for each this evening's student speakers can be found beginning on page 15 of your program. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time introducing these guys. The Smith-Soc program staff and I have the privilege of working with these individuals and our many other dedicated chapter leaders to help bring inspiring and engaging programming to their MBA campuses. The activities you'll hear these chapter leaders speak about this evening stand out from the crowd, but this brand of success is not rare amongst our chapters. This was a close competition, and it's truly gratifying to see so many of you consistently go above and beyond. On that topic, as you may have noticed, we have a special award to announce this year. The Wake Forest chapter of the Adam Smith Society has been selected as our 2016 Comeback chapter. This award reflects the commitment of the Wake Forest leadership team and the passion of their members. Despite the challenges that they've faced last year, most critically the winding down of their full-time MBA program, this chapter has truly persevered. They have hosted a dynamic slate of speakers and a varying spectrum of events, all of which has helped advance the mission of Smith-Soc on their campus. Their growth in membership, their dedication to their organization and to the principles of the Adam Smith Society are commendable. If the leadership team from Wake Forest would please stand, I'd like you all to join me in a round of applause for the Wake Forest chapter. Thank you. And there are 14 of them here this weekend, so that's a fantastic showing. In the interest of time, I'm going to ask you now to hold your applause until we've heard from all of our speakers this evening. I know these guys are awesome, but we've got quite a bit of program to get through this evening. To kick things off, we're going to hear from the nominees for Best New Chapter. Very briefly, those criteria for this award include formal establishment by gaining support from both administration and/or any governing student bodies, the hosting of a successful launch event, securing leadership both for the current year and beyond, building a strong campus presence, including events and partnerships, and growth, both in terms of programming and membership. In addition, to be eligible for Best New Chapter, clubs must have secured their administrative approval and hosted their first event between March 2015 and February 20, basically now. So representing our first nominee this evening, the Stanford Graduate School of Business, is Jonathan Greco. John.
Good evening. So first of all, I'd like to thank everybody at the Adam Smith Society and Manhattan Institute who was involved in helping to get the Stanford chapter off the ground. I'd like to make a special shout out to Ovik Roy, who was perhaps the progenitor of this by planting the seed in my brain to get this thing started. And when I first got on Stanford's campus, it was important to start moving fast. And we accumulated a group of people who are socially like-minded to begin with, and that sort of formed the bedrock for what would eventually grow into the Adam Smith Society on Stanford's campus. By spring quarter of last year, so Stanford's on the quarter system, which puts it offline with most other schools. By spring quarter of last year, we sought university approval, which required getting approval from both the Graduate School of Business, both through the students and through the administration, and then also through the university at large. So it took a bit of time, but ultimately we got through both approval processes without a hitch. And over the course of the first year, so I think the other chapter leaders can attest to this, we started to realize that not only was it important to found this Stanford chapter of the Adam Smith Society just to have one, there was a very important moral case for forming this Adam Smith Society chapter. And we noticed that a lot of our classmates, very intelligent, bright people, excellent at critical thinking, but the program itself was not encouraging deep critical thought of ideas and the principles that underlie those. So we became driven to make the Adam Smith Society at Stanford represent that and provide an outlet for that sort of intellectual engagement, both in terms of speaker series and events and just the culture of the organization. So in the fall, we had a launch event with Mellon, and it was fantastic. We also had various speakers come in, such as David Demarest, who was the communications director under George H.W. Bush, and Lanhee Chen, who was a policy advisor for Mitt Romney and currently for Marco Rubio. And we had many social events throughout the quarter as well, ending up with over 140 members of the society. And we're looking to consolidate that momentum as we go forward into the spring quarter. And we are looking forward to having a trek to Washington, D.C. We're hosting John Mackey next week, co-sponsoring with other organizations. And we're very excited. And our future chapter leadership, some of whom may be here if the elections go smoothly, which we assume they will, will bring this Adam Smith Society chapter at Stanford into the future. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, John. Next, ably representing Team Wharton and the University of Pennsylvania, please welcome Sean Clifford.
Good evening, y'all. It has been a real pleasure to reintroduce the world's first economist at the world's first business school. And it's something that we couldn't have done without the help and support of the wonderful Manhattan Institute staff. Thank you for sticking with us through the ups and downs of getting the chapter launched. I think Alyssa, if you were to ask her about her deepest fear, it might entail me sticking on for third year. Don't worry, Alyssa, I'm not, I hope. It's been a very busy year for Wharton. We started off by getting the club approved as an official chapter. We then had a wonderful launch event with Marilyn Fedak, who stands as an exemplar of who we might become and cast a compelling vision of where we might go. Next, we had Bülent Gültekin, a Wharton professor of finance who started his life as a radical Marxist filmmaker in Turkey and, serving penance, went on to become the chief architect of the privatization programs for Turkey and Poland. Next was the ever-delightful David Azerrad, a scholar at the Heritage Foundation. David, originally from Canada, quipped at the event that, like most immigrants to this country, he came to do a job that most Americans won't: defend the Constitution. As we look ahead to events in the spring semester, 2 short nights from now, we're hosting Jeffrey Yass, who's going to be speaking on market efficiency and liberty from a gambler's perspective. Looking to March, we have the dynamic duo Evan Baer and Evan Loomis to talk about entrepreneurship. And in April, we have the brilliant Australian author Jeremy Balkin and the Manhattan Institute's very own Oren Cass, whose claim to fame may or may not be that his senior year in college he co-authored a paper with yours truly. So in pulling these events together, we've learned a number of things. The first is that, as we all appreciate here in this room, ideas rise and fall, oftentimes not according to their merit. Logos is not enough. And so we've invested a lot of time and energy into figuring out how to make this compelling, how to rise above the din. I'm sure, like all of your schools, every single night there's a compelling opportunity. Why go to Adam Smith? And we've kind of happened onto two critical ideas there. The first of which is you have to be unique and delightful. An example of this is in the spring, we're taking a trek out to Silicon Valley. We're going to meet with innovative companies that are at the forefront of and operating at the constraints of the regulatory state and posing provocative questions about the relationship between government and the private sector, and also, thankfully, acculturating our generation to this humble, quaint concept called choice. It's been a good thing. And the other thing that we found is that people are everything. You have to have delightful people. The leadership team we've been blessed to have has been wonderful. They've made every step along the way fun, entertaining, and invigorating. I'm so grateful for that. And the best part from my perspective is that we are just getting started. This is our first year. And Stern and Tepper, we love you guys. You're fantastic, but we're gunning for you. So watch out. Thank you.
He's great, right? And sick to boot. So thank you, Sean. Our next nominees are competing for an award that is new for 2016. Best Chapter Marketing and On-Campus Promotion. As you can see, our first nominee is very eager. The criteria for this award include consistency in promoting the Adam Smith Society brand on campus, innovation in marketing, residence, meaning that the chapter demonstrates an understanding of its campus and MBA class environments and tailors their programming and marketing accordingly. And finally, effectiveness. Does the chapter demonstrate the effectiveness of its efforts via increased membership and attendance at events? So, our first nominee from the University of Virginia's Darden School of Business, I would like to present I.S. Dunklin.
I feel kind of like Donald Trump right now. It's very exciting. I actually am going to steal one of Sean's lines as an opener because it was great. Logos is not enough. So I really want to start by thanking the Adam Smith Society because logos is not enough, but having a great administration surrounding you really helps you put on good events, and you can't tell anybody about good things that are happening unless there are good things happening. So Molly, thank you. Marilyn, thank you. We are excited to have you come down March 28th. Oh, there we go. To show you all the great things that are happening down at Darden. But it's been a great year. We've moved from 38 members last year, which was really the core group of kind of a good group of friends, to 105 this year, which we see as moving from a group to really expanded across Darden. Done that primarily through social media channels. We started an Instagram account, the Adam Smith Society. Feel free to follow us. And also on Facebook through more traditional channels, email, and word of mouth. But overall, it's really been a journey through learning how to do great things, graphics. Thanks, guys. Helps you when you're struggling. But it's been a great journey, and really appreciated all the support we've gotten, and want to thank everybody who's done that, and hope that we win this one. It's gonna be fun. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you, IS. Or is that we're calling you now? Okay. Our second nominee for this award is Rice University's Jones Graduate School of Business. We have a last-minute personnel change from what's printed in your programs. So allow me to briefly introduce Jordan Nelson, who will be representing Rice Jones this evening. Jordan received a Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering from the University of Utah in 2007. He's worked as a petroleum engineer for upstream oil and gas companies in Salt Lake City, Denver, and now in Houston. He's a second-year professional MBA student at the Jones Graduate School of Business and is the chief financial officer for the Rice chapter of the Adam Smith Society. Jordan is married with 2 beautiful daughters, and we are delighted to hear from him this evening. Jordan?
Thank you, Molly. So at Rice, I think we have a unique MBA program in the fact that more than half of our students are working professionals. We have full-time jobs, and we go to school full-time either on the evenings or during the weekends. In fact, Layla and Myron, our two co-founders and presidents, are both weekend students. They have class on Saturday, so Layla was not able to make it, and Myron's grandmother passed away, so I got the call yesterday to fill in, which I'm more than happy to do. So as Rice, with this unique group of MBA students, many of those don't have a lot of time due to work and family commitments. Advertising and marketing to get people to join and come to these events is a challenge. We could go with the traditional, I guess the more modern techniques of social media, Twitter, Facebook. We took an approach that we thought was a little more necessary for our environment. We first formed a leadership team that encompassed all these programs. We have weekend professional students, evening professional students, full-time students. We each reached out in person to each group. We have colloquiums, we have parliament dinners. We got in front of people and tried to tell them who we were and what we do. There's already an energy club, there's already a finance club, there's already political clubs. What makes us different? And so to follow up on that, we had to create events that would bring people out. And one of the unique things about the MBA program at Rice is, and one of the things that differentiated us from clubs, was the goal of these were not to get jobs. We did not want this to be networking events with regards to handing my business card to the person that's speaking so that maybe he'll have coffee with me so I can get a job. So we wanted to create events where people could have free thinking ideas, could have debates, could meet the speaker and actually spend time talking with them, as Bobby Tudor has visited with us, and then also leave knowing that you had a great time, you were able to learn, and the whole purpose was not trying to get a job. So Layla and Myron started the Adam Smith Society at Rice in August. We quickly gathered a team, and we've had several events, including Mellon, including an event with the Professional Society in Houston that was newly started this year. And we have grown the people registered to 198 folks. That's about 40% of the entire MBA student body at Rice University. We've matched energy student needs. We've had talks about energy, which Bobby will talk about. That's a hard-hitting issue in Houston right now. We've talked about healthcare. We have the largest healthcare center across the street from us. So we're glad to have Adam Smith Society at Rice, and we're glad that we could grow the word and continue to grow at Rice. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan. All right, so now finally we'll hear from our two contenders for Chapter of the Year. So think of this as the gymnastics all around. These chapters do it all, and they do it well. The winner of this award will have executed at all the criteria outlined for the other awards: recruiting, events, leadership, partnerships and administrative support, etc. But they will have done it bigger, better, and dare I say, with style. Representing the Carnegie Mellon Tepper School of Business, to start us off this evening, Chapter President Matthew Pinkston. Matt.
There's no pressure. Thanks. It's truly a fantastic honor to be here tonight. I'd like to say a special thank you to the national office, as well as our godmother, Marilyn Fedak, and all the donors that make the society possible. Through your support, we have gained membership at the Tepper chapter up to 36% of the entire full-time MBA program. In just a little over a year, we have, excluding the job-specific groups, we have become the largest club on campus. And just to put that into perspective, we are larger in member size than the alcohol groups. And as MBAs, we have two major extracurricular priorities. The first is getting a job, and the second is drinking. So the fact that we have topped one of those, we're very proud of. But to be sure, the growth was very difficult. We strive to enlighten our future business professionals and knowing the importance of capitalism and the challenges in defending it. And we have, in convincing someone that is already for capitalism is nothing compared to convincing someone that is possibly a dissenter. And so that's why we have hosted a number of events, and we've partnered with a number of clubs that bring all sides of the debate. So we bring everybody together in order to discuss and talk about the important issues in today's society. But this is also a point where we partnered with a lot of groups outside of Tepper in order to bring in even more perspective. So we built a very broad base, including the FedSoc chapter at UPitt Law School, which created a fantastic event. So there are a few events in which we really are very proud of. One of which is where we fought very hard for Jason Riley of the Manhattan Institute in order to come to Tepper, and that turned into a fantastic event. We're also very proud of what we created, the View and a Brew event, where we have students come, watch a documentary, possibly even hear a lecture, and then talk, all at a small local brewery owned by Tepper students. Got to support them, right? But due to our efforts in the chapter's major events, we've had over 400 attendees at our 2015 major events. This is, to give you some perspective, Tepper's a small school that's equivalent roughly to the entire Tepper MBA program. So with next year's president on the way, and with our new faculty advisor as a former member of the Fed, we're very well positioned to continue to grow, to continue to build on our mission, and to build membership within the Tepper community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt. All right. Now, here to defend their 2015 Chapter of the Year title, we have the NYU Stern School of Business, represented by Philip Bodell.
Thank you, Molly. And thank you to the Adam Smith Society of Leadership in general. We couldn't do it without you. You make our jobs very easy, and especially Alyssa here in New York, who has to put up with our stuff way too often. I'm Philip Bodell again, representing NYU Stern. We're very excited to be nominated for Chapter of the Year. Happy to report we've had a very good year as well. Over the year 2015, we had over 300 new members and over 200 new members just in this academic year alone, which brings our total membership to over 800, including alumni. We had a great list of speakers as well this year, including an economist from the New York Fed, a former Bank of England governor, as well as a couple NYU star professors there internally as well. And also our attendance at these events was great, which was a focus for us this year as well. We averaged 50 attendees per event for the 9 events we've held over the past years since the last national meeting. Also, given this opportunity, we wanted to share 2 takeaways we found with all of you that might be helpful at your respective chapters. First was, it's great to get a marquee event on the calendar very early on in the fall semester. This really helps to attract attention from the incoming students. It's really helped drive our rapid growth rates. And second is maintaining a close relationship with all the other presidents of the various other clubs at school. Many of our events have a broad interest across the academic institution, and maintaining those strong relationships has allowed us to cross-promote and really get more interest in the events than would be possible just with us alone. So to conclude, we're very excited here at Stern to be nominated for Chapter of the Year for the 2nd year, and we're really looking forward to a great weekend event this weekend, and looking forward to meeting many of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil, and thanks to all of you for your thoughtful presentations and your hard work over the past year. Just say it again, we can't do it without you. The winners of these awards will be announced, the Smithies, are we going to start calling them that? Will be presented by Brahm Pillai of Skybridge Capital tomorrow evening during our closing cocktail reception. Winning chapters will receive all expense-paid trips for the members of their leadership teams to attend the Skybridge Alternatives Conference this May in Las Vegas. There's more information about SALT and Skybridge in the back of your program. Good luck to you all, and with that, I'm going to turn the podium back over to Allison, who's going to introduce the rest of the evening's program. Thank you.